busted my ass with that one. Anyway. Yo, what's going on? It is KJ, and I just dropped another song. This song's called Cycles, came out at the end of April. I'm here to do what I've been doing with all my releases. Give a deep dive. What's the song about? Who's it for? That kind of fun stuff. So if you'd like to learn a little more, hang around. So Cycles was, I mean, from start to finish, it was just a fun project. A shout out to my buddy Ryan Miller, who is the screamer on the track. I wish he could be here right now to kind of give his opinions and thoughts, his take on this deep dive and his experience with recording a song with me. But is what it is. But the song Cycles, as I said, from start to finish was such a fun project. It was really this very kind of loose idea I had. I wanted to bring in a screamer, like when I was kind of just thinking of what I wanted to do with the song and elements that I wanted to add into it. I was like, this would be so dope with another vocalist. I was like, but specifically screaming. I pitched the idea to him and we kind of just rolled with it. To be honest with you, I think the best part about Cycles was the fact that it beat my expectations. As we were kind of piecing it together, Ryan and I was able to kind of see somewhat of the finish line and kind of had the idea of how the over project was going to look, what it was ultimately going to come to, and kind of the trajectory of where, it was all aiming toward. But when it finished and came together, even at the beginning stages when the song was like 60-70% done, it was like, this is I was not expecting it to be this good. So I'm saying all this to say that Cycles as a whole was such a fun project. It was just, again, it by far exceeded my expectations of the turnout. And a huge shout out to my buddy Ryan Miller again for helping me bring it all together, because without him, I could not have done it. The song wouldn't be what it was if I did not have him. So yeah, thank you, buddy. Appreciate it. So what is Cycles about? At its core, Cycles is about the more mundane things in life, specifically enjoying some of the mundane things in life. And in this case, in Cycles' case, it's about rainfall. From as early as I can remember, I have always had this appreciation for rainfall. There is this, like, the aesthetics of it and the way that it makes me feel, because like in the aesthetics, I think it's beautiful. There is this visual beauty that is there when it comes to rainfall, like when it's raining, but there's also like the emotional beauty as well, and that's kind of like the more personal kind of you taking it in, if one even gets to that point. Some people dislike the rain, and I think some people are very indifferent about it. But for someone like me, I find beauty in both the visual aspect, but also the emotional component of it as well. I've always had like a really, really just strong appreciation for the way that it has like forced me to slow down with things I'm dealing with personally or things that are going on in my life. It's definitely helped me create these moments where I am able to sit back and kind of like, I would say, look over what it is, where all the noise is coming from inside my head, and kind of bring some clarity to it. And I don't want to set the tone that that's always like something that's like sad or like a miserable or it's like a negative thing, because it's that's not it at all. Or I should say that that's not always the case. Sometimes, of course, absolutely, but there's times where there's just a lot going on and it would be nice to kind of slow down. There's times also where there's kind of like, it brings me to a space of happiness in all of the noise. So kind of like that, not that calm before the storm, but it's like seeing the clouds after everything has passed. And yeah, so that essentially is what Cycles is about. Taking in little small moments, even in the dullest of moments, finding something that is positive that you can hang on to. Who is Cycles for? Well, if you love the rain, you might just love Cycles. Now, Cycles, it really can be for anyone. I think the mood that I try to capture with Cycles is that alone time. I really was trying to bring in those personal and really intimate thoughts, and it's just you and you're just kind of, in your own head. in your own space. That I think would be the best outcome for anyone who is listening to the song or wants to listen to the song. Uh, but if not, overall, you could just take it for exactly the way that I pitched it, which is, hey, I love when it rains. I enjoy these moments. I enjoy the quiet that it brings. I enjoy the peace that it provides. I enjoy slowing down, and whether I'm taking something externally in, like the rain itself, or whether I am taking something personally in and kind of just visiting whatever it is that I might be thinking about within that given moment, just enjoying those moments nonetheless. Why cycles? So, cycles again was a fun project from start to finish, largely because of my buddy Ryan Miller, who brought the screams into the song, which I feel like just gave it that little extra push that it needed to really kind of make the song really, I would say, bring the aesthetic to the song. Many people don't know this, uh, or at least my presumption is most don't know. But I used to be in bands. I had a screamer. I was in a post-hardcore band specifically, and I had a screamer. I did the clean vocals, and man, that was some fun stuff. That was some really really fun stuff. But little fun fact about me, yeah, I used to be in a band, so being around a screamer or having screamer in my having screamer having screams in my music is nothing that's not familiar to me. When I heard the track, the instrumental for Cycles, I like the idea, knowing that it could have screams on it, just finally placed, was like, that was my moment of being able to revisit that part of life for me, being able to honestly kind of just touch on how music began. Like, yes, I had an experience with music that kind of really pushed me and inspired me to want to pursue it more. But a big inspiration that I had for wanting to write that kind of music and be in a post-hardcore band came largely from the artists that I listened to at that time. I mean, there were so many, the early 2000s. I mean, there was all the punk bands, everything from like, well, Punk Goes Pop was a huge thing. That was definitely like a huge thing. But like, I mean, I could start there and work my way out. There's Cartel, Bullet for My Valentine, A Day to Remember, Boys Like Girls, All Time Low. There's Paramore, Breaking Benjamin, 3 Days Grace, A Day That Remains, Kill Switch. I mean, I could go on. Like, I could literally go on. But the point is, there were so many bands within that time frame that I loved. Like, I fell in love with. I listened to them, I mean, for hours and hours and on end, and they really became motivation for wanting to really step into the space of post-hardcore and write the way that I was hearing some of these songs and sing the way that I knew some of these songs. Like, they really were a huge inspiration. So that just kind of piggybacked off of everything that I do now in music. And stylistically wise, I find myself doing certain techniques or singing certain ways that kind of just remind me of what I used to do when I was in a band. And what I really just wanted to mimic and bring back was just some of those feelings, that space, that music, that just seemed to just work. It just seemed to just feel so good, especially when done right, having two very different crafts blended together. Yeah, yeah, I was like, this song Cycles, if I can get a screamer on it, it's just gonna be just nice. And honestly, I feel like I was right. I feel like I was right. It started as something so small, really worked out and exceeded my expectations. So this was like a nice way to scratch an itch and kind of bring back some of those old feelings of the early days, like where I started and where like my first love for music came from, and kind of just, yeah, just kind of trailed, and yeah, and here we are right now. Well, I think that is enough for me. I've definitely probably spoken enough. But these are always super fun to do. They're always super just interesting, a way for me to kind of revisit how the song came about and all of the ups and downs through it up until the very end when it's taken to the studio and becomes a finished product. These little deep dives are always nice. I like them for myself, even if no one else watches them. I yeah feel like I've spoken enough, and I am going to yeah I feel like it's a good place to end. I will see you guys for the next one. There's tons of music that I do need to release, and I will be getting to that. But I hope you, if you have watched this far, you enjoy Cycles. Hope you found the story and all the um, my thoughts on Cycles itself, how it came together, and just what it means to me as the artist. Hope you've enjoyed, and I hope you stick around for more. All right, take care. Peace out.